This is my 16.2 coaching techniques by Harry Baker. So firstly, different coaches will use different techniques for different athletes depending on their ability, of the athlete, what skills they're performing, and the conditions they're doing it in. So therefore, a certain technique might be better for a certain sport or an athlete, or another might be better for a different sport. It all depends on what's best for the athlete's development to improve and identify the strengths and weaknesses ready to be improved. So firstly, demonstration. So a demonstration is to give a visual action of the performance to aid learning. It's a mental picture for a learner to watch, and it's most commonly in combination with verbal instruction. We often demonstrate in sports to teach new skills or techniques to groups or individuals to ease the understanding within the sports session. Demonstration can be carried out using a variety of different methods, but all must consider the following to be effective and successful. So interacting with the group, so it's possible for a sports coach to use the participants in any demonstration, providing the participants are able to perform the skill or technique. New skills and techniques, so it's fundamental facts that participants require the knowledge and the understanding of the new skills and techniques that they need to apply themselves to a sport. Gaining the attention of the group, because demonstrating effectively will need the full attention and focus of all athletes. Practically demonstrating is important whenever the demonstration is delivering with high quality from the coach, so the technique must be correct and accurate. The length and duration of the demo is very important because the coach shouldn't spend too long on it, otherwise the participants will get bored and lose focus, and the coach should give as much practice time as possible. And lastly, organisation while demonstrating, because the coach should have the equipment they need ready. An example of demonstration is in a tennis serve, where the coach should break it down into steps as it's quite a complex movement. The demonstration also involves showing the group a full speed first, then breaking it down so the participants understand it. Demonstration should also include questioning the participants on the technique or what the coach has demonstrated. So the analysis of this, so effective, so it gives a mental picture, it's a visual learning, so it helps people, it conveys more than just words, so they can rewatch it in their head to understand. It conveys complex elements, it can be repeated, whereas words can sometimes be forgotten, what the exact words you said. Use of images and videos, slow-mo and correct pace, so it's like game-like. It can overcome technical language barriers so everyone can watch and understand. It's a cheap way to convey information, as you can get the participants so it's ineffective as if it's poor quality, so bad habits. So poor visibility, so it's not seen correctly. It's not repeated, so people might not understand. Needs verbal cues combinations. Just showing it might not be enough for people to understand. A coach might not be able to demonstrate it as they might have an injury themselves and they might not be able to do it. And it does delay the session a bit as everyone has to stop and watch. So demonstrating is a good way to convey techniques and skills for both individual and team sports, because either way the participant stop and watches the coach demo. However, it's different in training and competition situations because the coach will demonstrate more in training, as that's the point of where to learn, whereas in competition or matches the coach will not able to demonstrate as they cannot stop the game, and if someone doesn't do something right they need to remember it and then bring it up in the next training session and revisit it for correction. Also, a coach can demonstrate in both elite athletes and novice performers, but obviously there will be less demonstrations in elite athletes as they have the raw talent in what they are doing and they just need training to improve, whereas novice performers will watch a coach demonstration lots more as they are beginning and need to visually learn new techniques so they can improve. And lastly, a coach will choose this technique over others because it clearly shows the technique that can be broken down into stages, and also it can overcome language barriers. So the second technique I chose is technical instruction. So technical instruction is verbal communication to convey techniques or organize for drills. A coach should know the components of each phase of the technique Technical instruction is the detailed process where the coach or leader gives the performer instructions on a new skill or improving and advancing previous skills or techniques. A coach must have extensive knowledge of the area in order to provide specific details as to what the performer needs to be doing and how. This knowledge can be in combination of the science and skills related to knowledge specific to the sport as well as the tactical understanding of the sport. This technique allows a coach to become deeply involved with the session and allows them to break down the techniques into details and provide instruction which are specific and individual needs. By using the technical instruction allows the performer to refine a skill or technique or tactic and use it in a game situation. However, the technique can be very time consuming as a coach may need to deliver the instructions multiple times to ensure each performer remembers the technical detail. An example of a technical instruction a coach might have to explain is a layup in basketball, where they would have to say for a right hand layup, participants should plant their opposite foot to the shooting hand while taking 2 steps, then drive up the same knee as the shooting hand, and finally extend the arm and aim for the top corner of the box. And this technique involves a coach giving 3 to 4 coaching points where the participants should try and put them in place, and after a coach should question them to see if they still remember what they were. Cognitive, so basic technical knowledge, so louder and slower, or for more advanced players, a successful coach will use more technical language. So the analysis of the technical instruction, so effective, so use in conjunction with demonstration, so it can depthen the knowledge and understanding. It's clear and concise, so people can understand it. It's repeated if it's not understood, so people can really understand. You can plan ahead of the session, so you're organized. You focus on 2 to 3 components, you can check the learner's understanding with like a question and answer at the end to make sure they fully understand. It's ineffective because you might not have all the attention, so some people might not be listening. It's overcomplicated, so being told too much at once might complicate things, so people might only pick up on one bit of information. Advanced language, so people might not understand the technical language the coach might be using, and it can take a long time, and you need to be very knowledgeable about the subject that you're coaching. So technical instruction is a good way to convey technique for individuals and team sports. However, it's more efficient for individual sports, and the coach can fully concentrate on the one person telling them about the technique or skill, whereas in team sports the coach can say like a generic method for a skill, but there could be participants at different levels and abilities, therefore the coach might have to be saying information to different people, which is very time consuming, and also the coach will not know if all the participants are listening. This technique is more important during matches or competitions as they can say the information to the participants, while in training the coach could do this method with demonstration to be more effective. Also, this technique is probably more effective for elite athletes rather than beginners because they have more of a sense of what the coach is talking about, whereas beginners need to have a demonstration with technical instruction to fully understand what they're being taught. Lastly, a coach might use this technique over others because a lot of people need to hear information to process it and understand it. Also, it caters for blind people so they can partake as well. So the third technique I did was observational analysis. So observational analysis is either video analysis or live analysis. It's objective and subjective and forms the basis of evidence or evaluation before designing programs or training or tactics. So it's observing athletes performing a skill by analyzing players. Many coaches are able to spot individuals who have real potential. Analyzing the effectiveness of their performance, coaches in any sport are able to simply observe someone performing and then provide them with solid feedback. A successful coach will when analyzing will look at both strengths and weaknesses. This technique involves correcting error to improve the athlete's future performance. Feedback shouldn't be an attack on their performer, so an effective coach will discuss what was positive first and then move on to what needs improving. So feedback should be a motivating tool. An example of observational analysis is table tennis, where a coach could watch the participant and note the forehands made and missed, backhands and serves made and missed. There are many methods of observing in practice and competition in sports. Some of this ways are camera-based technology, so you can record the performance and watch it back, paper-based notes, analysis software like Prozone, as you can see on the picture of the football uh, pitch, where you can track the movements of the players or electronically noting. Observation of coaching points are central to identifying strengths and areas of improvement. Coaches should focus on fundamental ones versus refinement of technique. So the analysis of this technique, so it's effective because it's tangible, numerical or video evidence. It identifies strengths and weaknesses so you can make targets to improve. Notational analysis recognizes all contributions of players, so everyone gets seen. Video recorded and replay so you can watch it back as it's solid evidence. Use software like Dartfish. Repeated for progress, you can see how you're moving on and getting better at something. And it removes bias as it's hard evidence as it's can be objective. Ineffective, it's very time consuming as it takes a long time. Skill, familiarity and competence, so the coach that's doing this will have to know exactly what they're looking out for. Games versus dance and gymnastics. It's expensive software. Well, not always expensive, but a lot of the online stuff is very expensive, and it only focuses on one play at a time. So in game sports, it takes a long time. So observational analysis is more effective and works better if it's being done for individual sports compared to team sports, because a coach can only analyze one person at a time. Therefore, it's harder for a team as it would take much longer. Analysis can be done in both training and competitions, but it depends on the level of performance during competitions. Usually this software will analyze the player rather than people. Novice performers would have the coaching analysing them to see where they need to improve to get better, whereas an elite athlete will have the top software to analyse every part of their performance to see if they're at the top of their game.